Oh, I don't have lipstick on. Hi, hello. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing really well. I'm well as I can be. So today's video is about why I am no longer supporting Lush and why I think other people should reconsider too. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. You need to buy what you want to buy. I have my iPad here with like notes, so you might see me looking down a lot. I look down a lot anyways in these videos just because I am so new to this and I'm not super good at talking to the camera, but I'm getting better, I think. I am at a point in my life where I feel like my purchasing decisions are realizing how important that is. And you know, I'm not perfect. I feel like not every brand is perfect too, so you have to pick and choose your battles. This was a long time coming for me and my relationship with Lush for various reasons. A lot of things have been kind of in the back of my mind since I've left the company. But yeah, the last straw happened a few weeks back. And since then, I've just been like, it just left such a bad taste in my mouth that I was like, I can't support them anymore. I keep rambling on about it. But anyways, let's just get into it. Once again, I'm saying buy what you want to buy, do what you want to do. If you want to support Lush. But I feel like people should think about why they support the company before they continue to do so. So one big thing that I've noticed, Lush has been lumped in with clean beauty. I think a lot of it has to do with the language that they use in the stores, their branding. It all feels very clean and like organic and natural. I feel like they use words like fresh and handmade, and like they use vegetarian and vegan, like they use words like that. And so people automatically associate those words with clean beauty. Just because something's vegan or vegetarian or it has an organic ingredient doesn't mean the product is organic. During my time there, a lot of people walked away thinking that they were buying a natural product when they weren't, but they were paying the price of what essentially a more natural product was. And so that goes into kind of my next point. It would be fine if they were more open about the fact that they're not like a natural beauty company. Their products are so expensive that people automatically think like, oh, you know, they're charging more, so the product might be better. And you know, I think in the beauty industry, price does not equal quality, and you don't always get what you pay for. I think that it bothers me that their prices really do rival Sephora prices, especially for hair care. I used to buy all my hair care from Lush when I realized that the drugstore shampoos and their shampoos literally did the same thing for me, except maybe my hair smelled better with the Lush products, but I don't think better smelling hair is worth a $20 price increase. And another thing too is that they do have products that are pretty natural, and I have looked into it and I have found products that are more natural. For instance, a lot of their self-preserving versions of products will be more natural. But yeah, you have to really investigate and look into a product to find out whether or not it's natural. The main thing is that those products that you investigate, you find that they're more natural. Those aren't the popular products, and those aren't the products that people associate with Lush. And so when people go into Lush and they're thinking, oh, it's like a natural clean beauty store, it's not. If you're going in there to buy soaps, buy bath bombs, or buy shower gels, all that stuff is just like buying them from the drugstore. It's like buying it from the body shop. It's like buying it from literally anywhere. It's all the same. The only difference is that they pioneer the bath bomb, and if that's a big deal to you, go for it. They don't package their bath bombs, like they're not wrapped in plastic, which I think is good. But once again, they're charging like $10 a pop basically for a bath bomb after tax for most of them. That's literally money down the drain. For me, that was a hard pill to swallow once I stopped working there and I didn't have my discount anymore, and I realized like, wow, this is not worth the price that normal customers pay. So the next thing I want to talk about is the attitude and the personalities of the sales staff. I feel like it's not genuine. I've gone into stores as a customer, and at some places I'll tell people that I have worked at Lush before and I know what I'm looking for and that I don't need any assistance. And some stores I don't tell them anything. Like I just go in and like I'm in a good mood, so I'll go with it because I know that that's what they're paid to do. Like they're literally forced to like pretend to be my best friend. And you know, both times, no matter what, if I'm open to like the dialogue and the conversation, or if I'm not open to it, they'll still try it anyways. They keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you. And I honestly feel bad that I did that to people. I don't feel good about it. I feel like you gotta respect people's boundaries. Some people are into it, some people aren't. And Lush doesn't really care. They're like, oh, well, you're gonna come into our store, like we have the right to harass you, basically. I honestly feel like there were a lot of opportunities for people to buy things, and they probably would have bought it if I just left them alone. Their staff isn't really genuine. They're trying to be my best friend when like I don't know them. Like we can just have a chill conversation, but it doesn't need to be like, did you hear about this? Did you hear about this? Like at some point, stop selling and talk to me like a human, like not like I'm a wallet. They are a corporation at the end of the day, and they're not like the cute little local family business that they are perceived to be. I wrote this down. They brand themselves as a cute, friendly brand who is just hanging out and making soap, but their factories are a whole streamlined production in which efficiency is the most important thing. So when I was working there, at least 2 to 3 hours a day, there would be a dedicated like stocking time, and we would have a pile that was about 5 feet wide and 3 feet high, I would say, like give or take. It would be a pretty big pile, and we would have to get that out on the store every single day. It didn't seem like a lot, but when you multiply that over various stores of different sizes, imagine that pile of product across 931 shops in the world as of 2017. That was the most recent statistic I could find. That is so much stuff. That is just so much stuff. It's such heavy consumerism. It's not this cute little operation like we all think it is. It's not like handmade in small batches. It's handmade. Okay, it's handmade, sure. Small batches, no. Because they value efficiency so much as a normal corporation would. There's so much room for error to happen, and you know, things might seem fine on the production line. Like you might make 1,000 units of bath bombs and they might be perfect, but the person who's going to package them for distribution doesn't package them properly and they break. Or you didn't press them hard enough and let them sit long enough that they break by the time they get to the store and we have to throw it out. Like there's just so much waste there. And you know, another thing, as a former employee, I became really good at manipulating people into buying something more expensive or buying the biggest size of an item just by doing little things, by, you know, always picking up the large item and talking about it and, you know, reading the ingredients from it. I would talk about the value between the cost of the smaller versus the larger and like the extra product that you get, and their goal is just to make you buy as much as possible. And you know what? The employees that are doing all that, they're basically carrying the business on their back, were people like me who were supposedly making more than minimum wage, which isn't exactly true because seasonal employees get paid just the regular minimum wage. Like a regular sales associate, which I think they got made like $1 more or $1.50 more. Like it was nothing drastic, and they try to make it seem like, oh, it's this big thing, like you get paid way more than minimum wage. It's like, no, it was $1. Like at the end of the year, that doesn't make a big difference for me, especially because as a part-time employee, you don't get a lot of hours. Yeah, they did this one whack thing that irked me a lot was, I actually wanted to keep my job at Lush while I was starting to get started in my current career. And I was getting virtually no hours before that. It was the summertime. And before that, it was like April to, sorry, I have an itch. I told them that I had this new job like in around March-ish and I was gonna take it, but I said I wanted to still try to work there. And they gave me less hours during once that happened. But then once I started my new job, my manager started giving me very consistent hours. Like she started giving me 19 hours a week. I worked 8.5 hours a day. So on top of that, I was working another 20 hours a week. And she started giving me basically all these hours out of nowhere. I feel like they were just trying to push me out so they could make room for somebody else. Which, I mean, all fairness to them, they clearly want people who will give them the world for basically nothing. But yeah, back on topic to why we are not dealing with Lush anymore. Another big point was that for the place that I worked at, it was pretty close to a factory where products were made. And so we would always like say to people, oh, you know, the factory is just down the road, so it's like buying local. But it's not like buying local because Lush North America, Lush in total, is a global operation. It's not buying Canadian. There are so many small independent Canadian companies that produce handmade cosmetics. They've been doing it for ages. They've probably been doing it longer than Lush, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. I'm over it. At this point, I want to support local businesses, independent businesses, businesses with better representation. But yeah, enough on corporate America or corporate greed, I don't know. Let's talk about the next point, which is they are not as sustainable and environmentally friendly as they want us to believe. It goes for a lot of companies. Most companies do a bit of greenwashing, and I don't understand how a company can say that, oh, we care about the environment, we love the environment, we're sustainable, that's our most important thing, when they promote such heavy consumerism. I mean, that's pretty obvious that they don't respect that as a company because they have so many stores. If it was truly like a cutesy local business who was focused on sustainability and care for the environment, they wouldn't have nearly 1,000 stores around the world. So another big thing that I noticed was that they have many campaigns every year made of exclusively limited edition products that they rarely bring back. If you're like a hardcore Lush fan, you'll feel the need to try them. And I was susceptible to this as an employee because I wanted to try all the products that I could that were relative to me, so that when my customers came in and they had similar skin type to me, hair type, similar scent preferences, I would have things to suggest to them. But newsflash, I have not used like even a quarter of all the Lush products that I've ever bought, not even. And yet I still continue to buy even though I had so much stuff. There's at least like, I'd say 10 to 12 campaigns a year surrounding all sorts of different things, and generally they release new products at all these times. It varies how many products they release. At Christmas they release like nearly 50 products, I'm pretty sure. If you really like that limited edition product, you have to buy so many units of it in order to keep you stocked up for as long as you're gonna like it, but you don't know how long you're gonna like it. So, you know, for me, a good example of this is that they put out the American Cream shower gel, and I love the smell of American Cream. At the time I really did. It was, I think, only last year actually that they put out this fragrance, and I loved the smell of it. I thought it was fantastic, so I bought one. And then there was news that they were selling out of it really fast and that this was going to be our last shipment of it. So I bought two, and around the end of the year, so around December, I just was over it. Like, I was so sick of it and I didn't want to use it. So I just ended up giving it away. And I think it's great that I gave it away to somebody who would enjoy it. But I think it would have been better if in the first place I just didn't buy it because I didn't need it. So, and even if you do end up liking the scent and continue to like it, they put expiry dates on their products, so they're not good for a long amount of time. It just doesn't make sense to me how they can do all these limited edition products, do all these limited releases, say like, oh, we're so focused on sustainability, but they promote such heavy consumerism and it leads to so much Lush hoarding. One of the big things that I've been doing this year for me was kind of decluttering my skincare routine and my hair care routine, because realistically, I don't use that many products. I have a daytime routine, I have a nighttime routine, and then I have a staple shower routine, and I don't need anything other than that. But I had all these products that I literally wasn't using, that were going bad in my shower, that were sticking to everything, and where they were just getting disgusting. It was just cluttering my life, and like I couldn't even go into the shower without feeling crowded. It was bizarre. So yeah, not into that. And I do notice too that in these limited edition products, the quality isn't there sometimes. I noticed this specifically with the Naked body conditioners. They released the American Pie one for Valentine's Day and it was awful. It melted away in my shower in 4 days. And now that product was $10.95 for normal consumers, like normal customers, but for me it was $5.40, whatever. But for me, that's basically $1 every time I use it. It makes literally no sense. Yeah, it's just such a ripoff. I feel like you can't say you're a sustainable company, you're an eco-friendly company, when you so blatantly support mass consumerism and hoarding of your products. So the next thing that really irked me when I started looking into it more was their executive team. So let's talk about that. Very little information is out there about their corporate team, and they didn't participate in the recent Pull Up or Shut Up challenge, which urged companies to be transparent about how many Black people they have employed in corporate and leadership roles. There is an Instagram account called @PullUpForChange, and they post all the companies that were transparent about who is at their corporate level. So they did acknowledge that some people there were participating in making sure that they had a diverse team at the executive level. Others were saying they didn't have it and they were owning up to it, but Lush didn't. But the Instagram account, they contacted them, so they messaged them, they sent them a DM, and they said that they have 0 Black people on their exec team. It's great that they acknowledge that they could do better, but there's a difference between acknowledging it and then putting it into action. They are long overdue to put that action in, especially because we know that they do a lot of campaigns around. That was from the North American side. The UK team also confirmed they have no Black executives on their team. And as amazing as it is to have so many women at executive levels, I don't think that's enough. And the other thing too is that the nepotism is real. And I'm talking about specifically in the UK. Mark Constantine has all 3 of his children at executive levels, and they're all at like these very high levels. Some of them have multiple executive titles. For instance, Simon is the head perfumer and head of ethical buying. Jack is chief digital officer and product inventor. And then they have Claire, their daughter, who is head of retail. So yeah, there's a lot of management roles being given to their children. I'm just not impressed with how their executive team looks, especially for a company that is so political about diverse people, marginalized groups. They're so vocal about how their rights are being taken away, or how they don't have rights in the first place, yet they're not valuing them in their community. Okay, and so now I'm gonna talk about the last straw for me. This was the thing where I was like officially like, I give up, I can't do it anymore, I will not stand by Lush. So one day after the death of George Floyd, Lush UK founder Mark Constantine posted on social media to showcase that he was giving presents to police. And I realized that this was in the UK, and I am located in North America, and I shop from the I used to shop at the North American branch. However, this doesn't mean that because it's happening somewhere else, we get to ignore it. Police brutality is not an issue that only faces the US. It's an issue in Canada, it's an issue in the UK, it's an issue literally everywhere in the world. Every country you will see instances of police brutality. My second point from all of that too was that this is actually coming after a 2018 campaign called #SpyCops. It wasn't made by them, but they were kind of participating in the campaign. They did this campaign to raise awareness of the ongoing undercover policing scandal where officers have infiltrated the lives, homes, and beds of activists. And people accuse them of being anti-police after this very adamantly, and they're ready to boycott the brand over it. I will leave a link to that article in the bottom if you want to take a look at it. But yeah, it's just like a total kind of like flip of the switch. I don't understand it. And then third of all, lots of people have looked to Lush North America for their take on Constantine's actions, and they refuse to comment. Like, I was following them on Facebook, and people are asking, do you have anything to say about, you know, your UK partner gifting to cops? And they say they have no comment. They can't comment on his actions. I think they have a responsibility to denounce what he was doing. Lush North America is not willing to call out their business partner on their wrongdoing, and to me that is just wrong. They should just be telling their consumers that they don't condone their actions. Instead, they're just posting constantly about how they're donating to Black Lives Matter. And you know what? That's great. Money is great. It's good to donate to these organizations, but it's all like, what good is it to donate if there's no genuine nature behind it? I don't know, maybe it's still good to donate even if there's no genuine nature behind it. They haven't said anything on the issue, and they're kind of just letting him get away with it. I think that it just proves that it's not enough to just not be racist anymore. You have to be anti-racist, and you need to be able to call people out on their poor actions. Mark Constantine did release an apology, like a long post about it, and he said that he didn't know it happened. He didn't know that the police murdered George Floyd because he was taking a mental health break and he wasn't paying attention to the news. But as a co-founder and director of a billion-dollar corporation with nearly 1,000 stores all around the world, I think you have a bit of a responsibility to check the news before you post stuff on social media. I think that's just a little precaution that you should be taking when you have such a far and wide reach. You need to be much more responsible with what you share out in the world. That's my hot take on that. Those are kind of 6 reasons why I am just done with Lush. I can't do it anymore. There's a couple links that I'll be sure to share about Black-owned brands that have alternatives to Lush products. But yeah, once I finish all my staple Lush products, I am never gonna buy another one again. I am officially done. I'm over it. There's so many more local businesses that I can support that I would rather give my money to be honest. And yeah, now more than ever, I think it's important to be buying local, buying from Black-owned businesses, woman-owned businesses. I think we need to vote with our dollars and just do much better. Lush doesn't need my money. People are still gonna buy from them even though this happened. And some people might still think that their products are worth that amount of money, and you know, that's your prerogative. The situation with gifting to police, it really was the last straw for me, and I was thinking about not buying stuff for a while, even before that. Like, as soon as I left the company, I had to pay full price for products. I realized that they weren't worth it. That's all for me today in my little bit of rant there. I hope that you learned something new. Okay. No hate to you if you want to keep buying from the brand. I mean, do your thing. But for me, just last straw, cannot handle it anymore. I'm totally open to having discussions about this, so please leave me a comment if you feel the same way, or even if you don't. Like, I want to just know your opinions. Please like and subscribe if you've been enjoying my videos. Stay safe out there, guys. Make good choices. Take care of yourself. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye from me and Henry.
Yeah, we're done, P.
Do you want to go eat some Oreos? Well, I have to eat the Oreos. You'll have to watch. I could give you one of your treats, though. Do you want a beef?